What's going on, everyone? It is time for another creature feature action adventure horror film review, sci-fi film review. Today we're going to talk about Monster Hunter. It was released December 4th, 2020, and it was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Now, if that name sounds familiar, we talked about him a lot on this channel because he did Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Extinction, Resident Evil Retribution, Resident Evil Afterlife, and Resident Evil The Final Chapter. He's also done some other great films like Event Horizon, Death Race, the 2008 remake, and The Three Musketeers, the 2011 remake. And let's had a box office and it's fully $44.5 million. It was a flop when it came out. But basically, Mila Djokovic, Paul W.S. Anderson's wife, stars in this. And Ron Perlman also has a good starring role in it as well, and some other people. But yeah, so I wasn't really familiar with the games. I have friends that play it and stuff, so they were all psyched about this. So, yeah, so it starts off with a war convoy driving to the desert on a mission, and they go through a storm and get sucked into a different dimension where these warriors are fighting big monsters, and they have to put up and fight and try to find their way home. But as they do find their way home, the monsters follow them and end up back on here on Earth, where they have to fight the monsters again. It's what the title implies. It's Monster Hunter. Well, it should be Monster Fighter, but yeah. This film has a very slim plot to it. It's very opaque, I guess you could say. Yeah, Mila Djokovic's character has basically no reason just for moving us through to places to make of interest. I do love the monster looks in this. The CG monsters and stuff like that look really good. Apparently, they look pretty identical to the games. They even did some where they made some up just for the film, which kind of rips off a lot of other movies and stuff. You could definitely tell they quickly put this together. I didn't take the time to craft something unique or anything. It's pretty much okay. Jurassic Park, what's a good scene? Let's put the scene here, and then let's take that scene from Pitch Black, and we'll put it here with these monsters we created, and then we'll take this monster and fight it like a Rain of Fire. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, and kind of stitch it together like that. So it kind of feels like very lopsided in that. The acting overall is okay. Ron Perlman does the best, and yeah. But overall, I think the special effects are really good, and yeah, and the cinematography is not too bad, but the first half is so slow and boring. Nothing really goes on and on. Eventually, the monsters start fighting and it gets good. And this film feels like it is building up to a climax and then just ends. It doesn't actually go any further or anything like that, which is sad because, boy, the last 45 minutes was crazy. I really enjoyed that. And there's a lot of great action scenes and stuff like that, and good monsters fighting people. It's like watching Pacific Rim all over again, or Godzilla. But yeah, they basically screwed it up somehow. But yeah, so yeah. Besides it being like a good entertaining movie, like I said, there's no plot whatsoever in this. There's no story, no good characters to get behind, and overall, it's very flawed. And there's a lot of really cheap weaponry and unrealistic ones, if you know what I mean. If you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about for that. But yeah, so I didn't have big hopes for this, and to be totally honest, this film is a little bit better than I was expecting it to be. But for the first half, that was a chore to get through. I almost fell asleep like 5 times, and yeah. But once it got going, it got entertaining. At least it's just I wanted more characters, more story to help me invest more into it, because it's cool watching people and beings fight monsters and stuff, but overall, if you're not invested in the characters, no point of watching, right? But yeah, so they took like the fruits and vegetables of what needed to be besides the plot and characters, and they're like, here you go. We'll just leave this stuff out and see what happens. But yeah, Monster Hunter was a weird, amusing experience, I guess, in a way, but it's definitely a roller coaster ride of boredom to excitement to boredom to excitement with no real meaning. So I'm going to give Monster Hunter probably a higher rating than I should. I'm going to give it a 2.5, just because when they do fight the monsters and stuff, it's pretty epic and climactic and fun. And it's not a drag like watching people avoid a horde of zombies for 6 movies and stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, that's what I thought of Monster Hunter. It was better than I was expecting, but still really flawed. Also, I know Paul W. Anderson wasn't really into this because, he's basically been typecast into making film adaptations of video games since he has 2 big franchises done: Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil, and then which are both questionable, and now this. So, what's next? But yeah, it's not that great. But yeah, let me know what you thought down below in the comments. I'll link the trailer down below so you can check it out there. It's also on Netflix right now if you want to check it out. Yeah, and you can probably find it on some other spots too. But yeah, so I'll link the trailer, like I said, down below, so you can check that out. So make sure you check my Instagram link down below as well as post clips of films I'm going to review in the future of my stories. At the film, hashtag subject on film, and hashtag so you're aware of it. Also, my Letterbox is down below at Derek P reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films, and my Twitter is down below at reviews on Derek. So follow me on those platforms. Stay in with this channel. Like this video, share it to more people wherever. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. And if you have any films or film franchises in any genre and on any streaming service, comment them down below too. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can and if I can find them. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and odd I never thought of checking out together. And also show you my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because we're going to talk about a sci-fi comedy in the next one, Spaceballs. So yeah, they're starting to get into spooky season, so there's going to be a lot of good thrillers, horror, sci-fi, fantasy type reviews coming. So make sure you tune in for those. Watch out for all those crazy monsters coming to our world, trying to annihilate us all. And I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.